Welcome back. A big parenting topic lighting up the internet right now. Have you ever wondered whether your child was born naughty? Well, one Aussie mother was so concerned she sought a medical explanation for her daughter's disobedience. Speaking to the Sydney Morning Herald, Anne Rhodes revealed this is how she discovered pathological demand avoidance, otherwise known as PDA. It's a diagnosis yet to be accepted here in Australia.
So for more of this, we thought we'd bring in clinical psychologist Georgiou on the Gold Coast. Stephanie, great to see you again. You've had a number of parents approach you about this PDA, which is the different PDA that we've known before. You've had to get your head around it. Can you explain to us what exactly is PDA?
Pathological demand avoidance is a profile of autism, and it's characterised by extreme avoidance of everyday demands. So, for example, asking a child to put their shoes on or go to school is avoided because it creates so much anxiety for the young person, and whilst it can come across as defiant or naughty, it's actually just a need for autonomy and driven by anxiety, which we're still attempting to understand.
So a lot of people at home are going to listen to this and think, well, clearly there's just a discipline issue here. Your child is just being naughty, they're not doing what they're told, and kids have been doing that since the beginning of time. How is this different to your regular disobedience?
Well, in order to be met with, I guess, a PDA profile, you do need a diagnosis of autism, which is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterised by social difficulties, a fixed interest or, hyperfixation on topics, and also repetitive behaviour. So if a child is just exhibiting disobedience without meeting that profile of autism, yes, that might be considered disobedient behaviour. But if a child does have an autism diagnosis with these additional traits, then we can classify it as a PDA profile. Right.
Just to clarify this in my head, though, that if your child is expressing moments of PDA and that child is not diagnosed on the autism spectrum, is that something that you think maybe I should go get my child diagnosed because maybe that's what the problem is here?
It's definitely important to identify how often the behaviour is occurring, what kind of demands are they refusing, is it a demand that they actually want to do, such as go see fireworks. So it's important to identify what the demands are that are being refused, how often, and also how the child is refusing the demands. Because with PDA, we see really clever and social strategies being used, such as negotiation, humour, bargaining, and this is why it can be a bit confusing, because with autism we typically see social challenges, but children with the PDA profile do have some accessible skills of social strategies that they can use to avoid those demands.
So give us a sense of how common this is. How many people are reaching out to you about this, and what are they saying to you?
Well, I've been reached out on TikTok. I made a video 2 years ago on the topic because people were asking about it. And what's interesting is more and more adults are identifying with this because, as we know, many more adults are being diagnosed with autism and can identify this behaviour in themselves. So it's emerging a lot on social media. We do know that autism diagnoses are increasing, and I do think this is because of awareness on social media that we didn't have back in the day.
So why is this PDA not clinically recognised here at the moment, but it is in countries like England?
It's still very new, and the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders is in its 5th edition, so it still needs a lot of revision. We don't have a lot of research into PDA, but thankfully we are learning more and more about it, and I guess it is difficult to quantify. Any neurodevelopmental condition is very brain-based, and I guess with PDA it can look a little bit different in young people, so we're still, I guess, getting research about it.
It's an interesting one. Stephanie, we appreciate your insights. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.